In 1985, represented the year of the official office of the First Lady in Nigeria, with Her Excellency Mariam Babangida as the First Lady with a special focus on women empowerment across the country. In this session, we will focus on the various development and impact made by our esteemed former First Ladies of the nation.
Once again, we appreciate your presence here. It's an historical day, and I'm sure we are all glad to be here. This time around, we are having our mummies here, and they are the set of 1985 to 2015. It's wonderful to be first ladies. This session, we just want to interact with them to find out, mummies, how do you feel when you first heard that you are going to be the first lady of this nation? Especially when your husband was pronounced as the head of state or the president of the nation. What was your first feeling, your first reaction? We want to know, ma.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to stand on the protocol already established. Up to the 8th, is it 8th? No, 7th June, 1998, I remember I went to see my son in Adesoye College in Offa. It is a long journey, to go from Mina to Offa and back. So I was very tired, and I played Dutch the following day. I didn't go to court. I think I called my husband. Usually my husband calls me at about 7:30 in the mornings. And when I didn't hear from him, I called, and I was told that he had gone to the villa for a meeting. And I wondered what kind of meeting it was. So at about 12:01, my husband called me and told me that, unfortunately, General Abacha had died. And I was to come to Abuja to condole the First Lady. To be very honest with you, I was numb. I didn't have a thought in my mind. I got to Abuja. By the time I got to Abuja, they had left for Kano. So it was later when he came back, and he told me this is what had happened when he was escorted and came. Of course, I went through so much emotions. It's not something that you had expected, not something you had even dreamt was going to happen. We were preparing for his retirement later. And so it's difficult to tell you what my feeling was at that time. The first thing I did was to pray to God. I started having feelings of fear, of the unknown, and what you have. But then, it's very difficult to explain what had happened. But then, of course, gradually, the reality started coming, and everything went on accordingly.
Thank you, ma. We equally want you to say something about that, ma. We just want to have a feeling of, is it excitement, shock? What was your reaction when the news came that this is the news? Your husband is the president of the nation.
Well, I was a former First Lady of a state.
Okay.
So, when he said that, so they called me and they said I should contest for a presidency. Actually, I was sad. I love my husband so much that I know now that I will lose about 80% of his time that he shows me. So actually, I wasn't excited. I was just feeling, so now with this little time that I have for him, they are going to snatch it away. I wasn't happy. And you know, one thing, the same thing happened. When what I feared happened. So when the opponents went to attack my husband, they said, oh, he loves his wife too much. So since he's not doing anything for you to attack him, start attacking the wife. And that was exactly what happened. So being a first lady it's nothing to be excited about. It's something, it's just like a sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can now hear that being a first lady, we know it's a position of responsibility. And it's a thing that you have to be well equipped. So hearing that, you know there's a kind of work ahead of you. I believe those are the things, the feeling we could just get from what you are saying, that wow, this is another assignment. You just have to be there. And the work must be completed and be successful. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. May I put the questions to you, ma'am? I'm sorry.
My experience when I heard that my husband is the president of Nigeria. Well, to me, at that time, my madam is here with me.
She's holding.
My madam is always here. Her Excellency Turai Yar'Adua. I was just behind her as wife of the vice president. By then, she was the first lady of Federal Republic of Nigeria by then. Already, it was a shock to me. But even when she was away, she calls me. My daughter, be there for me. My daughter, we will work together. And she always carry me along. So I thank her so much for showing me the way. When I heard that him is going to be, my husband, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, is going to be he's the acting president by then, before the president. Well, I ran to my mentor, who was my mentor by then, was Ajia Miriam Babangida. I knew Miriam Babangida when I was the wife of Deputy Governor. She always called me her daughter. So I ran to her. Mama, this has happened. What is the way? She told me, my daughter, you have worked with your madam, and you have also been with me throughout. You know my passion. My passion is the woman, the rural woman. I want you to start from where I stop. And she also told me, don't forget to carry the women along. That's how I came back home. I called a friend and a sister, Josephine Anene. This is what our mentor has told me. How are we going to go about it? And we put her together and form Women for Change initiative.
Maybe you can brief us about the Women for Change initiative.
About Women for Change is all around this country. Because Miriam Babangida, she told us that we, the women, we are not only good for the farm, we are not only good for the home fronts. As we can be good for the home fronts, we have another thing to offer. As we are good for the farm, we have another thing to offer. We should hold fronts in our communities, in our home, and at the same time, come back to the urban area where we can contribute our quota for the national development of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. It has been wonderful listening to you. And I'll be moving the mic back to our Excellency, Mama Yar'Adua, to tell us how she managed home front and the responsibility of the state. It's a cumbersome assignment. If you look at the responsibility of women at home, and now taking up another assignment of being the First Lady of the nation, thinking of the children, as has been rightly said, even the husband is now being said to be our child. In such situations, how do you do it, Ma? Thank you.
Well, as usual, my husband comes first before anybody. So I always make sure that I give my husband first priority before anything. Another thing is whatever at that time I was doing, I always ask my husband that today we have this program and we have that program. And he always advised me. He said, okay, Turai, do this, don't do this. Or you can go to this, but please, the other one, he will say, okay, send somebody to represent you. So I have my husband's support, which makes it very easy for me. I have my elder daughters. All my first daughters are grown up. So they are the ones that look after the younger children for me. So I have the support of my husband and my children, which makes it easy for me to run the office of the First Lady. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Ma. I'm happy we are having a legal practitioner in our midst. And we know the situation of this nation. Sometimes we think of it legally, socially, politically, different form you can think of the situation of this nation. Ma, is there any time that a situation in the nation you try to apply the aspect of the legal aspect in advising, we just want to see how do you utilize this knowledge in terms of this nation building? Thank you, Ma. Please, Ma, can you just...
I use my profession, of course, as you say, is a legal background, and that's one of the reasons I formed wrapper, and it's already been explained what we do, so I don't have to go through it again. And being of a legal mind, I'm really very conscious of the limits of my relationships or my position. And I do know that, as everyone has said, the office, the title First Lady is not defined. You do not really have a constitutional role except that of supporting your husband in delivering administration and service to the nation. And therefore, I was very careful in whatever I do to ensure that I balance my actions within the limits of that position. I do not want to do anything that will impact negatively on my husband, because my concern at that time, knowing that it was a period of transition, was to ensure that we give him all the support for him to do what he has to do. And I think that is all that I did.
Thank you so much, Ma. I could see most of the time you reference him. Ma, can I ask? I don't know, don't mind me. How did you meet your husband? We want to listen to Sly's love story a bit.
I thought you will ask me about my role model, my sister, rather than how I met my husband. Of course, I met him. I practically grew up knowing him. And that's all I can tell you. I would just want to use this opportunity to say a little bit about Mrs. Mariam Babangida, because that is why we are here.
We are coming to that, ma. That is the next question.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes. You can go ahead, ma.
Mrs. Babangida is the wife of John Babangida, who I see as an elder brother, and therefore she is my sister. She was a role model to me in so many ways. Both John Babangida and Mrs. Babangida had a very strong impact in my life. And therefore, I saw them not from the position actually of heads of states, but as a brother and a sister. And that was the way I treated them. So much has been said about her that maybe it will be repetitious. But from my own perspective, I think, or I know that she really was the lady who galvanized women. She was the one who set precedents for other first ladies to follow. She started these actions of hers when she was the president of Nigeria Army Wives Association. Then General Babangida was the chief of army staff. She traversed the length and breadth of the various divisions and galvanized women and really injected life into the association, all with the aim of helping the underprivileged. And therefore, she took this in the Better Life program. I will always remember her. When my husband became the head of state, I did go to her, like my other sister did. And she gave me a lot of advice. The first thing she said to me was, your husband, well, after other things, she said that the most important thing is that you must take care of your husband's feeding. That is very important. She gave me advices as some of the things, issues of fashion, issues of what have you. But the most important thing I took was that of her advice for the welfare of my husband. And that I did because I ensured that his feeding was taken care of by people we trusted. And I believe it helped. So her death really was a great loss to us. And therefore, I am really very happy that our daughter, Aisha, has sustained and is sustaining the program. So I want to say, may God bless you and your siblings. May God give you the strength to continue to expand the program for the benefit of all of us. And for her, I would want to say that may God bless her, may God forgive her sins, and may accept her into Al-Jannatul Firdausi. I want to also seize this opportunity to greet our mothers of the nation for the zeal, the enthusiasm they showed, and the support they are giving my daughter for this program. So I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. I will still return the mic to you, ma. We want you to tell us what you admired in our Excellency, Miriam Babangida.
When I became a First Lady, I just sat down and think, well, better life. Mariam didn't, the Office of Better Life is not part of the presidency. It's her own project. So I decided that, okay, mine will be also like her own. My wife and others will not be part of the presidency. It will be my own project. Another thing is peace mission. When we come in, you won't believe it that it's the office of the First Lady that started discussing with the militants. Nobody knew about that one. Myself, my staff, and one brave boy, the son of, not Lamasane, Shetima. He used to go to the militants and discuss with them. Nobody knew that the militants used to visit me by 2 a.m. in the villa. Even my husband didn't know about that. It's after sometimes that I met with a lot of them. Then I started telling my husband, this is what happened. He said, Turai, are you crazy? I told him that, look, we are doing this under peace mission. But now that all of them agreed to see you, so we are handing over to you now. So that is when nobody knew about that one. So we, the First Ladies, are here. We are there to support our husbands. We don't care whether people know what we do or we didn't do. As long as our husband knows that we help them, we support them, that is only what gives us pleasure. And that is our role, to support our husband, who is there to look after the whole nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. We have benefited from all the discussions, and we could see that when we are looking at First Lady in their offices, thinking that it's bed of roses, they are now telling us that it's bed of responsibilities. It's bed of awakening them to different areas of needs of the nation. We want to seize this opportunity, ma, to appreciate all your inputs, all your dedication, the time, the sleepless period you have spent in seeing to the growth of this nation. Your silent contribution at the back of decision, all those things, even though they may not be there outside, we recognized. And we say, thank you so much. You will remain the mothers of the nation. All the works you have done will continue to grow, even to your joy, because you will see and be happy with the way things are going. We believe the future of this nation will be brighter.
Thank you.
We will make it. Thank you so much. We appreciate your service period.